I've got a lightsaber. Can I go and get it?
Yes, go get your lightsaber.
Oh, man. Oh, the bottom.
And if that's not the best cold open ever, then I don't know what is.
Hi, and welcome to the Reading Roads podcast, and may the Force be with you and us for our spoiler special on the most recent Star Wars show on Disney Plus, Leslie Headland's The Acolyte, which takes place at the end of the High Republic era, roughly 100 years before the events of The Phantom Menace, as it sees respected Jedi Master Sol investigate a series of Jedi murders that might be committed by his former Padawan, Osha. I'm your host, Darth Gregors, and joining me to go over the show's first season, I'm joined by Jedi Master Ben Kenobi. May the Force be with you, Ben.
Do or do not, there is no try.
The scruffiest looking nerf herder I know, an intergalactic smuggler, Jose Solo.
I shot first.
I take that back, Jose. I take back the nerf herder comment, Jose. You're always impeccably groomed. And sadly not joining us, because he was supposed to be here, is Imperial sanitation worker David, because any day now, he's going to be up to his elbows in baby poop.
I'm really concerned about how much you're going on about baby poop in this. Like, I'm sure there's other stuff about being a dad that is going to be great, but
no, it's baby poop.
Like, it's just baby poop. Is that it?
Baby poop. Screaming baby poop.
Scream. So the poop screams.
Screaming baby poop. The poo itself screams at you. And if that isn't an Adult Swim cartoon show we've just come up with right here, Netflix, give us all the money.
There we go.
Screaming baby poop. They got a show called Exploding Kittens, for fuck's sake. Why not Screaming Baby Poop?
Have you watched that show?
I have. It's quite good. I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it. It's very Rick and Morty. It's very good.
So let's get it back to Star Wars, and let's quickly run down the cast. So the lead of this show is rising star Amandla Stenberg, whose first role was playing a young Zoe Saldana in 2011's Columbiana. Since then, her biggest role, and the first time I think I remember seeing her in anything, was in the horror comedy Bodies, Bodies, Bodies a few years ago. And here Stenberg plays the dual roles of Osha and May. Yes, a good twin and an evil twin. Next, playing a Jedi Master Sol is Lee Jung-jae, who came to the worldwide attention playing Sing Yi-hun in Squid Game, and he actually learned English for this role. Trinity herself, Carrie-Anne Moss, is also in it as a Force Fu Jedi Master Indara, although she can't be that good at it because she dies in her first fight. Yes, this is a spoiler special, everyone. If you haven't figured that by now, well, you know, tough.
Wow, wow, wow.
What are you going to do about it? Impale us with a lightsaber 3 times? No, but that's coming up. Yes, it's a spoiler episode. We get Charlie Bartnett as Yord Fanboy, Yord Fandor, a smarmy, by-the-book young Jedi Knight who somehow only gained fans because he took his shirt off in an early scene. Hashtag Yord Horde, despite being very annoying. But hey, it works out well because he gets his fucking head twisted off. Alongside Yord, the much more preferable and just, well, all-round better Jedi is X-23 herself, Daphne Keane as Jackie Lon, who is Sol's current Padawan. Rebecca Henderson plays Venestra, which sounds like the noise Scooby-Doo makes, a senior Jedi who screams Baden from pretty much the start. We got Torben, who's played by Tommen from Game of Thrones, Dean Charles Chapman, another Jedi with a terrible beard. You got Jodie Turner-Smith as Mother Anasaya, leader of the Force Cult Witches. Of the Force Cult Witches? Yeah, let's call them the Force Cult Witches. That's really hard to say. Definitely don't say that after you've been drinking, because you can say that wrong. And her partner, Mother Coral, played by Margarita Lavia. Yes, her name is Ashley Margarita. I thought that was a misspelling. It's not. Her name is basically a drink. But last and certainly not least, of the main characters at least, is Jason from The Good Place, Manny Jacinto, firstly playing Quimir, a smuggler who initially helps one of the characters, who is then revealed to be a Sith Master, who the subtitles then handily just call The Stranger for the rest of the show. But, gentlemen, we will call him Bad Manny for the rest of this episode. Because he fucks up a lot of people as this show goes on. So my first kind of question is, gentlemen, we were promised a Star Wars murder mystery show. Is that what we got?
Fucking absolutely not. No, in no way, shape or form.
Technically, kind of. Because
there was no mystery.
Murder.
We knew who murdered everyone really early on.
Yeah, they forgot the mystery part of it completely. They got all the murders
in. It wasn't a mystery. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess the characters didn't know, but we did. So that really just takes the wind out of the sails. No, you're right. You're right. There was no mystery. There was. I'm just now realizing this.
I think we just need to let Jose workshop this a little bit more, just to get to the end of, just to get to where we are, because then we can move forward from the same place.
I just realized you're right.
Fine.
There was no mystery whatsoever. Oh my God, what was I even thinking?
I wanted a Jedi Master traveling through the High Republic looking for a murderer for most of the season. Then, a reveal near the end of the season. And that's just not what we got. We got a muddled, poorly told story of twins. One good and one evil, because obviously that's the best idea the writers' room could come up. Oh, look, the Force, there's light and dark. Let's do twins again. It's not like it's already been fucking done in Star Wars. Didn't see that one coming. And we correctly guessed last time, Jose, when we spoke about the show, that they'd pull an old switcheroo as well. Who was this show for? When we reviewed the trailer on the previous episode, we said, who is it for? Then we saw lots of young, I'm going to call them red cloaks now, Padawan apprentices. And but then it was like, well, it's got loads of kids in it, so it can't. Is it going to be a more kiddie show? But then there was that trailer with all the blood, and it hinted at darkness. So it was like, who is it for?
The show doesn't know who it's for. Remember that really cool poster with the fucking lightsaber and the blood? I was just like, what? This is going to be great. And then, yeah, you just get, I thought, the first episode, it comes in hot. You've got, Carrie-Anne Moss, just sitting in a bar, being a Jedi, just being cool. And then this kid comes in and goes, hey, fight me. And she goes, nah. And she goes, come on, fight me. And she goes, nah. And then she goes, fucking fight me, bitch. Matrix was shit. And she goes, you said fucking what? Stands up. They go at it. They fucking go at it. And Carrie-Anne Moss gets fucking killed. I was like, what? This is brilliant. What bravery. What genius fucking... That's fantastic. And then you realise that you're going to have to sit through a fucking series of flashbacks that weren't even as good as Lost flashbacks, and they weren't even that good anyway. Come on, behave.
Oh, don't speak ill of my Lost.
There was no... Yeah, it didn't know who it wanted to please, and it definitely didn't please itself. The show didn't know what it was, therefore...
Slowly, a sex tape?
Title of all the sex tapes. It didn't know what it was, therefore it couldn't be a fucking... It couldn't market itself, and it couldn't be good. It was just not good.
I think one review I saw where it talked about Carrie-Anne Moss dying quickly is we didn't have even time to register anything with this character. We kind of know she's strong only because she's thwarting this assassin very easily until I guess she throws two knives at the same time. Oh yeah, I guess Jedi can't hold off two knives.
No, it was she got killed because she had to protect the bartender.
But yeah.
But she throws,
protect the bartender
so she throws,
and stop another knife.
She throws two knives, one at the bartender and one at Carrie-Anne Moss. And I'm like really? If you're that Jedi, I'm pretty sure a lightsaber could take care of a knife. Mm-hmm. So the knife coming towards you, you just bat away with your lightsaber and you fucking force push the other knife out of the way. It was a weak killing, but I was still oh shit, they've got some balls, they've killed her. This could be fucking cool.
I think it would have been better if you would have started the episode following the assassin, watching Carrie-Anne Moss and sizing her up. And so there is a little more development. It's hey, look, they're preparing, they're watching, they're doing some reconnaissance. And really what it comes down to, I think, for the whole series is the ideas are there. It's just the execution is just not there.
But are there? What? When you say the ideas are there, it was... it felt like it had an idea. It felt like it had a direction, but the direction, it just went round in a circle. It wasn't a straight line. It didn't go. The ideas that they had weren't anywhere near as developed as they should have been to carry that series.
Exactly. I'm going to fast forward all the way to the end. They flipped the characters of the girls. And the good one.
And we called that so far away, didn't we, Jose? We saw it when we spoke about it before.
I could argue that it wasn't even necessary because they wiped the girl's memory, but then they wiped the bad girl's memory.
We're going to get onto the amnesia storyline. Trust me, I've got a whole little rant prepared for that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to run through every episode because why would I make people sit through that?
Yeah.
But I was making notes on the finale when I was watching it on a train, as Disney Plus clearly intended the other week. Because I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm not going to have time. There'll be spoilers everywhere. I'll just watch it now. There weren't any spoilers anywhere. And even when they were, they didn't really matter because no one gave a shit in the end. So here's my feel free to dive in on any of these. These are my stream of consciousness on the train up to Nottingham thoughts from the finale a few weeks back. Sol clearly doesn't know how to tie fucking restraints. You're a Jedi Master, for God's sake, man.
Yeah, but he's not. But they don't sail on ships, do they? I mean, give him a break. He learned English for his role. I think he gets a bit. I think he didn't have time to learn to tie knots.
What was that furry little fucker doing right here, Basil? Why are you sabotaging the ship? And literally in that early scene, I was like, "Is he the Sith?" Because that'd be a massive swing, and I'd totally be there for that. A show with an evil giant hamster Sith, I'd totally be there for that. I've never seen a massive gerbil Sith Lord before.
It was a really strange switch because he can smell the two twins and know that they're different people. Then why would he be helping the evil one? You know?
Why? Okay, I've got to dive in there because the fucking Jedi that can read minds and was a badass couldn't tell them apart all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, yeah, you're right.
But the giant gerbil could.
The giant gerbil with a nose can tell them apart. Like his superpower is having a nose,
being a gerbil,
and then the Jedi that can just push people out of other people's minds and be super powerful and awesome can't tell them apart. Like, shut up.
Although he has to try to read their minds, right? Like, he doesn't just happen to know what they're thinking.
So what we're saying is just give Basil his own show. That'd be more interesting.
Just because someone has a haircut doesn't mean that the force around them changes.
Oh, God, yeah.
And let's not mention the fact that one of them has a tattoo.
Oh, yeah, on her forehead.
Face, yep.
Granted, the hair covers it, but, like, your hair moves. I remember that in the last episode. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, all these things are just ridiculous.
When we met Venestra, like, again, it's so obvious she's, like, the politician bad guy who's just going to, like, sweep everything under the rug. Although, we've been quite brutal on it so far. I found one thing I liked already in the finale, and that was David Harewood's senator. He just turned up, and he was a G. I was like,
he was great.
Oh, my God. Like, please, could this character have been in it more? Because he's immediately like, you're full of shit. I'm going to find you out. And I've told you that without actually saying it outright.
But you know, like, in my opinion, why he was so great is because he harkens back to Andor. Like, you get that kind of, like, all of a sudden you get that kind of feeling of the politics of Andor, and it's just like, oh, this I recognize and this I enjoy and this is great. When normally back in Star Wars, like when it got really like heavily political in like Phantom Menace, everybody went, what the fuck, this is a kids movie, stop being don't get all political. But now
I don't care about trade wars.
Yeah, who cares? Like, fuck you. Yeah, so now all of a sudden you see the politics side of it and you're just like, oh, this is actually going to bring some some element of Star Wars back. And you're like, I'm in my mind, I'm like, well, that's not what Star Wars was to me as a kid. It was fucking lightsabers and dark side and light side. So interesting that's how we've turned as an audience, or at least us three, or two of us have.
I think it depends on your age, right? Like, we're OG trilogy people, aren't we? And like people like David, his generation, they grew up on the prequels and they love the prequels. True. Well, that's their Star Wars. So, there'll be a whole generation of kids now who've grown up who love the new trilogy, and we're like, no, you can't like The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. You can't like both of them equally.
Yeah. It's weird.
Because, and they'll be like, no, I liked all three because I was a kid.
By saying that, is there like there's a generation of kids now that will actually have seen Mandalorian, and their introduction to Star Wars will be that, and then then the sequels.
So when Dave Filoni's film comes out, it's going to break their little brains.
It's probably going to break my little heart as well.
So meanwhile on Brendok, Sol is just walking around like he's in Rocky, yelling, "May, May." You're on a whole planet. You really honestly think you're going to find it that quickly? Obviously, the Force, the Fred, all that bollocks. But I'm not calling the Force bollocks, but just like the fact he's land. Right, if you're that good at finding someone, wouldn't you land close enough to them that you don't have to walk around in the wood and shout for them? Like, wouldn't you be able to sense them? And I don't know, alert anything else on the planet just by yelling her fucking name out. Oh, having said that, again, I'm trying to be positive on some things. Sol's Force Sonic Boom in that fight was pretty cool. I was like, Sonic Boom. That was cool. That's what I mean. The show has the odd cool thing in it, but then he just doesn't do anything else with it.
It's like cool moments as opposed to like a good plot. Like it's like you can't save a piss poor plot with just some awesome moments.
When they introduced the Cortosis helmet, which basically blocks the Force, which I didn't know was a thing before that episode, but then that's how he's able to be absolutely wreck shit in episode 5. But then in the final one, I was like, "Where's your helmet, Manny? Put your helmet back on, or just headbutt the fucker." Like, what? Just headbutt him. Why have you completely forgotten about that when you're fighting the main guy? I did like the Osha when she says, "Oh, to me, it's your fault," and she kind of finally got what she wanted. I thought that was quite good, and I think Amanda Stenberg was pretty good. And like fighting herself in that fight, the stunt work and the editing was really tight on that, which it hasn't always been in this show. Why are we not talking about the horror of Pip being factory reset?
Oh,
Like, no one,
you're right.
neither of them seemed to give a shit after that. Like, Pip was supposed to be your, like, little robot sidekick companion that you go, oh, Pip. And then they just, like, literally did an Apple reset on him and held his button down for 3 seconds.
It took me a little while to realize that's what she did, and I'm like, wait a minute, the whole character's deleted now. And then, but honestly, they never
Neither
really
of them
used him.
seemed to care.
Yeah, and I don't think they really used him to enough. Like they used him as a multi-tool, and that's about it. And what's the purpose of having a little droid?
Because he was a shit fucking droid. It was awful. It was like Disney have got these rules now where it's like you've got to have like an adorable, marketable droid that we can sell in the stores. Even in Andor, there's a gonk droid that is like a like the battery droid that is the sort of one of the things. And then I imagine in the second season of Andor, which I'm sure we'll get to later on, there'll be the story about how the Imperial droid gets brought into it, and there's an Imperial droid. So like there's like. And in Kenobi, there was that little flying fucking saucer thing that looked, when it popped its ears up, looked like Mickey Mouse. Like they went that deep with it. Like
I didn't even realize that, man.
Right? It's like, but it's like it has to have. You got to have the droid because they're marketable and you can sell them easily. And oh god, it was just fucking pointless. And this was not only the worst of the droids, they used it fucking badly, and it like you say, it got basically made redundant after that episode where it got factory reset.
So one other thing, Ben, can you explain to me the Kyber crystal bleeding thing? Because to me, not knowing the lore that well, it looked to me like May just broke a lightsaber by throwing it.
No, the Kyber. So the way I understand it is that when you turn to the dark side of the Force and your heart goes like truly turn to the dark side, when you hold your when you hold your lightsaber or you touch a kyber crystal, it turns red, which is why all the Sith Lords' lightsabers all turn red, because it poisons the kyber crystal with the dark side of the Force, or it quote unquote poisons it. I really enjoyed that scene. I thought that was really cool, but it was just like, again, kind of mishandled. They made a really huge thing of it, and it was like, oh, that was a really great moment. I really enjoyed that, but like it's not enough to save. Like a few good moments aren't enough to save a show that was as poorly fucking put together as this.
My next note literally says, "Shut up, Sol. You did not do the right thing. You are massively problematic." And even Indara calls you out on your bullshit, and she's like, "You're a little bit obsessed with those twins there, mate." He goes, "Yeah, I just want to train them." Okay, creepy old man.
It's like, yeah, I love them. Oh my god,
yeah, they're twins. I really want to train them, and like,
I just want to groom, train them,
train. It's like, and we're not given any other explanation for his behavior other than Indara saying, "Yeah, but you're a bit too emotional." No, I'm not. Shut up.
Like, no, you're a bit emotional. Isn't that part of his character flaw though? Like he gets too connected to his Padawan, because they say that about the one his previous Padawan. I think they briefly talked about like your last Padawan.
Briefly, it wasn't really explained, wasn't it?
I don't know. I feel like they just didn't build up the characters properly. Like the whole Torben thing. They kind of try to explain, oh, I'm bored on the planet, and then all of a sudden, oh, if we get the twins, we can prove in a thing with this, and we can leave the planet. But I'm like, were you really that bored, and you're really willing to run head first into a group of enemies? They didn't set up.
So what you're saying, Jose, is it's all Torben's fault?
Well, Torben went in, but then
he got mind fucked.
Torben goes in, and then Sol joins them at the gate, and then they both just climb up together. Sol doesn't stop them, but they kind of enter the whole situation just like haphazardly, without really like. There's no real like wait for the rest of the Jedi, and then you can go with the Jedi to prove that these twins are unique.
My next note says, "Can all three of them, May, Osha, and Bad Manny, just kill Sol now, please?" As I was watching, I was like, "Can you just kill him? Because he has to die." And yes, Osha, all capitals, force choke that bitch. And finally, Sol is dead.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Sol to die, and it was kind of unique that they.
Was you wanting them to, though? I thought they were all going to die. Like this film this show got pitched apparently originally as Frozen meets Kill Bill. That's how Leslie Headland apparently pitched it to Disney. And on paper, that sounds great. It's two sisters. Then there's going to be a kill list. They still got it wrong. Like even that idea is good, right? Like that is a good idea. Each week you've got someone, but you shouldn't have known it was her until like right near the end. It should have been someone's killing Jedi. Who are they? I don't know. We're going to track her down. Oh, I need your help because you used to be on my thing. And then they reveal it's his sister late on. That's your twist then. That would have been so much better than what we got.
I mean, also the whole idea that the whole sisterhood, like the cult witches, they were just chanting, obviously, and doing something, but then
Power of one, power of many.
Yeah. And then, like, what was it? And then Carrie-Anne Moss uses the Jedi powers to stop them, and then all of them die. I'm like, what? What did she do?
She's that powerful that she can go into someone's mind and kill other people through someone's mind, yet she can't tell the difference between those twins. Also, she's that powerful that she can go into someone's mind, a Wookiee's mind, mind you, and kill a whole coven of witches, which I'm getting a bit fucking sick of every other person that uses the Force as a witch, which puts them on the bad side. Like, fuck that. That's what? Just because you use the Force and you're not a Jedi, you're instantly a cunt. Like, I'm not having it. That's not on. Like, it's like,
did you mean you're in a cult? Is that what you were trying to say? You're in a cult?
Sure, if that's going to help people's delicate sensibilities.
Ben's saying hashtag Team Manny.
Hashtag Team Manny. But like, if you can go into someone's brain and kill all those people and then be defeated by a trained like kid because she throws a knife one way and a knife at you, like like the power balance, like or the power that people have doesn't make sense. It's not consistent. And again, consistency is one of the things that I like across any universe that I'm looking at. If you make a set of rules, you have to sit. Who doesn't like a cake? If you make a set of rules that you make the rules and then you don't follow them, then you might as well be a politician. Like, fucking, come on. Star Wars deserves better.
This all happened despite the fact that the mother was going to let her become a Jedi, but no one decided to say that up front.
Yeah, but she decided to turn into a black smoke monster, and like Saul was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Oops. And I've stabbed her by killing her.
He kills her by, like, he doesn't understand what's happening, so he's like, nope, not having that. Fucking, what's she up to? Fuck off.
Black smoke, get out of the way. I'll just use my lightsaber to get rid of the black smoke. My arm was in smoke. Having said that, do Jedi not disappear anymore when they turn into Force ghosts when they die?
Is that just a modern thing? Did that just start with like modern?
That started with the original films, didn't it? Not the. They're not becoming Force ghosts.
Yeah, this is set like hundreds of years before the Battle of Yavin. It's like 200 years before Battle of Yavin, right? That's how it was.
Right. Isn't that a thing specific to meditation that Qui-Gon Jinn learned? Turning into a Force ghost? Because I feel like that was a very specific thing that not all Jedi can do.
Yeah, but literally in the original trilogy, every fucking one turns into every person who's killed.
But they've all been trained by Yoda in some way. So Yoda is the one that starts that. He tells Qui-Gon Jinn to learn this type of meditation, and then he teaches Obi-Wan kind of, I don't know, I think Yoda tells both of them to learn this particular technique, and then
Yoga.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And then we won't pay attention to the fact that there's a lot more Jedi at the end of the new trilogy that are Force ghosts, but
every Jedi that's ever been a Jedi talks to Rey at the end of the new trilogy. But just because they didn't disappear doesn't mean that they're like.
I tell you, whose voice we didn't fucking hear that. We didn't hear Yord's there, did we?
Yord. Oh man, I don't think he was that bad. It was just that it was awkward and
right. But my point was right. If they did turn into Force ghosts, still that planet would be fucking haunted. Kelnack's world would just be haunted full of dead and I would feel so sorry for Jecki because she would be stuck with fucking Yord on that planet for all of eternity, which seems a bit harsh.
Oh God, yeah, she would. But like, let's come back to something awesome. That episode is episode 5, where the stranger, or was it Khmer? He fucking just absolutely owns an entire fleet of Jedi. Like, he was fucking cool. I was like, yes. This is fucking excellent. This is what I wanted. If you've got a Sith, and like, this is where I thought the show was going to take a fucking really cool turn. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's like, I empathize with this technically a bad guy. He's like fuck you guys. Like you're the Jedi. If you don't use the Force the way you want it, then what? We don't get to use the Force? Fuck you. That's not right. And it made me think, like, what happens to all the kids that like go to get picked up by the Jedi, taken from their families, trained as Jedi, and they go, you're just not good enough. Are they all fucking janitors at the temple? I mean, what the fuck do they do? Like, you have like this cult of guys and girls and aliens and all sorts of other interesting things running around the galaxy, taking children away from their families to train them, but you don't hear about what happens to the ones that don't make it. And I know that in Jedi lore that if you don't use the Force, then, you know, like it just disappears and you become a normal person. But what if you leave the Jedi Order, which you can do apparently, and then go back to your family, but keep using the Force? Like, there's never been anything to explain that.
Like, so my shopping's a bit heavy. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, just gonna pick it up. Like, I've lost something behind the fridge. Just pulled it out with the Force. So my thing is here really quickly is that what if the Jedi were the bad guys? And that was my
the picture of the show, right? One of them.
But they never really commit to it. They're too scared to make Jedi. So what they, in my opinion, if they'd have gone, right, the problem is that Quimir has been trained by the Jedi, but told he wasn't good enough. They let him go. He goes back to his family. Something terrible's happened. He's like, shit, if I was here, maybe I could have helped. Fuck the Jedi. And then he starts thinking, well, hang on. How many other people has this happened to? And then he starts saying, well, why is it the Jedi get to pick who uses the Force and no one else? Why have they? And then he goes, you know, he spends a bit of time finding himself. He goes to find every other person in the universe that uses the Force, that apparently a witch. Like, and then has a chat with him and goes, oh, what do you find good about the Force? And they go, oh, I really like it because I never lose my keys. Or I really like it because, you know, something else. And he comes to the decision that the Jedi are the problem. And that's when he turns to a Sith Lord. That for me puts the Jedi in the category of people that think they're doing right and steamrolling people's rights. And I was like, fuck yes, that's a show. That is a great show. And at some point, someone, Yoda, has to turn the Jedi from this fucking steamroller, figure out what to do with these people so that Sith don't become a problem, and like fix it. I was like, that's a challenge. That's a brilliant challenge. And that makes Yoda twice as much of a badass as he would have been. But no, they weren't brave enough to make the Jedi's the bad guy. Cowards. And also, lightsaber whips are dog shit.
Well, and also that was a lot of the fans who didn't like the shows, not like our complaint. Their complaint was, well, no, the Jedi are the good guys. They can't be the bad guys. Oh, you're ruining it. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I just care if it had been done well, and it wasn't done well. And you're saying about, like, Manny being a student. Well, Vinestra is clearly his master, wasn't she? She was clearly, or not like Sith Master. Sorry. He is clearly her fallen student. So already she's probably lied about that because no one else seems to know that he was her former student. So she's clearly fucking pushed that one under the carpet.
She just mind wiped a bunch of people.
Probably, she probably just mind wiped them all. But the funny thing was, because when he senses her on the planet, he immediately puts his helmet back on.
So he can sense her on the planet, yet fucking silly bollocks is running around the forest shouting May.
May! Yes, a month in the calendar. A month in the calendar, you fucking idiot. And you say about like using the Force, and the irony is, you just said about people just using the Force for casual things, and that being a bad thing according to the Jedi. And yet, in the episode when David Harewood's Senator character turns up, and he's like interrogates Vinestra, she literally uses the Force to close the door behind him, which is like the biggest abuse of fucking power you could ever do. She literally like, come on, that's space. They literally that's we're in Star Trek things here. The door would just shut and close by itself anyway, right? You didn't need to use the Force to close the fucking door.
They all do that, don't they? Like you see them like every once in a while, you see a Jedi just like flick their hands. In fact, actually, you know what? Do you know what Ewan McGregor said in an interview? He's like, every once in a while he'd be going into a store with an automatic door and he'll do the little Force thing. And like people see him walking into store and he'll do the little Force thing and the door's open and everyone's like, yeah, fucking well done, mate. That's brilliant. So,
mate, we all do that.
Yeah, but
I mean, no one gives a shit because we're not Ewan McGregor, though. That's the only problem.
That is the problem.
Let's talk about Mog briefly. The worst name for a Jedi ever. It's like YTS trainee boy.
I felt
Mog.
So bad for him.
They're all supposed to be Jedi trainees, right? Or actual Jedi, some of these people running around.
They're supposed to be
and
Jedis.
All they're doing is running around following a giant rodent who's just having a sniff. He's gone that way. Where's he gone? It's like Lassie. Like, where's he gone, boy? Is he over there? And honestly, I might even do this for a joke. I might get that footage and just put the Benny Hill music over and speed it up. Because that's what I thought of when I was watching it. So, stop,
tells him,
have a sniff, look around.
Can you start it by doing like a bad lip reading thing and have someone go, what is it, Lassie? Timmy stuck down the well, and then the Benny Hill music starts because that would be fucking brilliant.
Yeah, she literally tells them to spread out and comb the area, and then they're in a long line of just.
They look like
following the scene.
Hogwarts students. They look like junior Hogwarts students in that scene. It's just like running around with a crap capes. I was just, oh no. And yeah, the most egregious thing I think I found in the finale, the thing that annoyed the living piss out of me the most, not the fucking memory wipe storyline. I hate amnesia storylines in the best
I woke
of shows.
up and it was all a dream. Shut up.
And they're always shit. So let me guess, if there is a season 2, it's just going to be a redux of season 1 with the twins slowly turning back the other way again. Oh. Right. So, and also, you memory wiped her in front of her twin still. And like, so the newly mind wiped mate doesn't immediately go, "Who are you?" And why do you look like me? At least walk around the side of a fucking tree or do it so she doesn't actually see her identical twin sister in front of her when you do it.
If it's a mind wipe, does she know that what she looks like? You've got a point there, because when she then next sees a mirror, she'll go, "Fuck me, I look just like that woman that was in front of me when I couldn't remember everything."
Imagine if that scene is in the next season and we're like, no. That's what starts giving her remembering. We're like, lazy writing. Also, what was the point of Finestra going to the planet? She had to look around and went home. I was expecting a confrontation with Bad Manny, but they're so banking on another season. They didn't even do it then. It's like she immediately sent something and he's like, "Oh shit, better put my helmet on." And then she buggered off. And then, of course, to end the episode, we get our 2 gratuitous cameos, one of which everyone recognised and one probably a handful of people recognised. So there's a scaly dude in a cave, which apparently is Darth Plagueis, the wise. Yeah. And, of course, we get the little green dude, Yoda, from behind.
Did you say Plagueis?
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Darth Plagueis.
Okay. That's how little I know about the character.
I mean, I think that was an unnecessary tease because it's what? Okay.
Some people don't still think it's him. Other people think it's just a really horribly badly burned Mother Coral.
Oh, no.
And what if Mother Coral? What if Mother Coral is, "I'm still alive, just very badly burned"?
Badly burned, and I'm living in a cave.
What if Mother Coral is Darth Plagueis and is very badly burned? Yeah, like it's a possible thing, isn't it? I don't fucking know. Like it was so hacked and jabbed together. Like Darth Plagueis was supposed to be a fucking badass, and actually they do say that Darth Plagueis was the one that discovered that you could just make beings out of the Force. So I don't know if that's what they're going with that. It's just so complicated because you hear a lot of stuff. Like you pick up on stuff and you put it into like your own little lore and you become, it becomes canon. And then like someone has a funny idea of it when they're making a show like this and just tries to tweak it a little bit because they think they're being clever and edgy because they want to get their big fucking Hollywood movie, and they fuck it up for everybody. And then someone like Jon Favreau's got to come along with dustpan and brush and his toys from the fucking loft, which he's like, and he'll sweep it all up and he'll tie it all up with a nice, like tie all the loose ends together and go, "This makes sense now." And everybody goes, "Fucking well done. Didn't think anybody could sort that out." Then he'll disappear off and he'll go and be in a Deadpool movie for 10 minutes. And then someone will come along and fuck the rest of Star Wars up for him. He's got to come back. He's forever tidying up fucking storylines. Like, just put him in charge. Kathleen Kennedy, well done for being in charge for so long. Like, you are literally a trailblazer in the industry. It's hugely impressive what you've done with your life. Like, I salute you. But please, can you just put Jon Favreau in charge, let him oversee the whole thing, and Dave Filoni can go off and do his cool little storylines that drag things together. But like someone with a fucking vision needs to be in charge. If they need a Kevin Feige, and Kathleen Kennedy isn't the person to do it, because I think she's amazing at doing at producing like one-off absolute fucking banger movies. I think she's like on every single Spielberg movie going. She's like attached to like E.T. and fucking
she's one of his go-to producers, isn't she? Yeah,
and she's done like Indiana Jones movies and stuff, and like she is fantastic. And to write her off as just like, oh, she's just dead weight, this, that, and the other, is bullshit. She's fucking phenomenal. However, it's like she's overseeing so many projects and doing she's done it for so long now that I think like if she just oversaw the universe with someone like Jon Favreau, it would be in much better hands, and you could take a consistent look at it, because she does point stuff out. I've seen her in like videos where she's like pointing stuff out and going, "Oh, did you think about this and that?" And you go, "Fucking hell, I didn't think. That's genius. Well done." So I don't know. I just think that I've lost my point completely. I'm just on rant now. I'm on rant mode.
Rant mode.
I just want to go back to the whole twin switching because I feel like I could have gone along with it up until the point of the last episode where maybe May found out, hey, yes, he did kill their mother, but then the whole point of being on the light side is like, you know what, I forgive you, and then maybe Osha would have been like, wait, which one's the evil one? Osha could have been. So okay, Osha could have found out, hey, you killed our mother. I understand it was a complicated situation, and then May could have been like, you're stupid, and then she could have gotten mad and killed Soul, and then finally become the evil one that she needed to be. But then because Osha still loves her sister, she's like, oh, I understand. It would have been a little bit better, and then they would have just wiped Osha's memory, and she would have still been the good person, but she would have never remembered anything past when they recruited her, because then she would have still thought May would have been dead.
I'm looking in my notes, right, and I think Ben clearly hates it with a fiery passion. I didn't hate it that much. I just thought it was pedestrian. I'm not going to say fine, because fine implies good.
No.
I just thought one of the biggest problems with it is the writing and the plotting of the story.
So probably, arguably, two of the most important things when you're making a TV show.
And like you say, the only pros and we really pick out of the show is there's a couple of cool moments here and there. And unfortunately, they don't have any more gravitas to them because the story. So I wondered if they'd had the balls to actually tell the show in a linear order. It might have worked better. You know, the first episode, you see the young girls as twins. Then you have the big fire. And please edit that or shoot that better because that was terrible and really confusing.
It just didn't make sense how the fire started at a doorway and then it went through the entire building and things blew up.
May burns a notebook, which then apparently sets a lantern off, which then blows up some little panel in a wall, which we then made to think kills all the witches, and it wasn't a stupid joining them all together and then getting killed by one lightsaber thing that did it. So technically, Soul did kill all of them, but just, by accident.
That's not quite right, is it? Because before the fire, didn't fucking Carrie-Anne Moss's character kill them all? And then Soul just finishes them off.
I thought it was the other way around. I thought they were all joined to Mother Anastasia, and then when she turned into black smoke, because they were all like swaying and doing a little sing-song, and then when Soul killed her with a lightsaber, that's when they all died, I thought.
No, it's when Carrie-Anne Moss's character like fucking pushes them out of the Wookiee's mind.
Oh, okay.
That's when they all die. So she kills that lot, and then Soul finishes the rest of them off with a little bit of help from fire.
And the whole Torben situation, him being old while meditating, I don't understand what even happened.
That was like the worst makeup I've seen in Star Wars ever.
Oh my God. When I first saw that, I'm like, why are they making a young guy look old and so poorly as well?
So bad.
Yeah. It's weird, and it's weird that we're picking up on things normally you wouldn't even question in the Star Wars show. Like, the makeup's bad.
Because the plot and the fucking script was so bad, it pulls you out of every episode. Like, you're almost looking for shit now. Like, it's like, I don't understand how it could have, like, got through quality control.
Like Jeff Goldblum at the end of Jurassic Park 3.
Nothing like that. He was great in comparison.
Like, even just a simple example of when they were going to find Torben, Osha goes a different direction and somehow gets there before them to find him dead. And they're like, oh, you killed him. And she's like, no. And then Yord follows her and says, no, I followed her the whole time. I'm like, how did she get there before? Why didn't you take the shorter route? Why did she take a shorter route?
Because Yord's a twat, that's why.
Yeah,
it's
so weird.
Did Yord kind of want it to happen? Like, was it like he's like following her, but like had she have got there and then attacked the Wookiee Jedi?
Kelnaka.
What would have happened? Like, did he go, oh, I know Elnaka. He's double R'd. He won't need my help. I'll just watch and see what happens. But like, he doesn't in any way like think, right, one of my fellow Jedi is about to be attacked. I'm gonna either get there first or I'm gonna come in hot on her heels and like fucking restrain her. He just stands there and watches. So had she got there first and got the drop on him, he would have been too late to save him anyway. So it's just ineptitude after ineptitude.
Well, I mean, and again, like with the flashback episode 3, it was so badly put together and confusing to follow. Like we said, that we couldn't tell what was going on with the fire. So, like you say, in the last episode, then, as I got spectacularly wrong, it's Carrie-Anne Moss who's responsible for them all dying.
Well, at least I think that's what happened, because that's not clear again. Like,
it's still not clear. But like in the third episode, you think it's from the fire.
I think that was on purpose.
Yeah, but it's still bad on that.
It's still bad.
When I first saw that, I was just like, are you honestly telling me a coven of powerful Force witches couldn't sense there's a disturbance in the Force? Sorry, the thread. and they couldn't tell a big fire was on the way and just go, oh, we'll just put that out with the Force. That's why I didn't buy it. That's why it didn't work.
The fire in itself is kind of bullshit as well, because like you say, like it was like like the lantern sets the fucking book on fire. The book, she drops a book. It's like, oh fuck, that's hot, which she would do it onto like a concrete floor with a metal wall, and somehow that catches fire. Yeah. I mean, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, like they made metal very differently, man. Like I don't know that's a fucking viable fire path.
I honestly thought at that point Darth Plagueis was going to be the reason everything went to shit. That would have been more sense, because he's hiding behind the shadows. He's the one that made everything look like the Jedi were the evil ones. But then I still don't see how the Jedi even felt guilty enough to think that they were wrong.
Yeah,
because they were just protecting the girls. And
again, with Torben, they could have because he obviously gets mind raped basically by another Anastasia. So again, you needed more. You needed an actual scene of him, maybe before he was in a trance and gets murdered, where you see him struggling. So you go, that situation really fucked him up. Then it would have made more sense when he accepts death when Osha turns up.
Yeah,
like is he just in like a Force-induced coma at this point? He's
just like, oh, I'm really depressed, guys. I'm going to go float for 10 years.
Oh, so weird. So weird.
And his motivations were even weak. Just like, oh, I'm bored here. I want to leave.
Fucking Torben, man. He caused all that shit because he got bored after doing 7 weeks of field work in a jungle. Little prick. If he hadn't run off, but then even the editing was so clunky on that bit, I was like, wait, what's going on?
You know what? In saying that, I still prefer I will now say I prefer his character in Game of Thrones to his character in Acolyte.
Oh yeah, no, I think I would as well, man. I'm going to pull a few positives because we've been very, very negative on it. And as we mentioned, episode 5 Night was just the best episode of the season, or as I like to call the episode, The Bad Place. And it was great. We got Manny's reveal, and he just murdered the shit out of everyone. And he gets the best line of the whole show when after he's just triple stabbed Jackie, and he goes, "Oh, was that its name?" I was like, "Holy shit, man!"
Yeah,
that was just so good. He was so badass. And then sadness for the hashtag Yord Horde because Manny just snaps his neck like a chicken.
Perfect end.
Perfect.
He doesn't even dignify him with a lightsaber. He just snaps his fucking neck. You're just.
I almost wanted him to just hold his head and have him looking back up at him and then drop him on the ground. And poor Jackie, man, she was the only one of them who was worth a shit. She was doing so well. She got a second lightsaber. She was double fisting it away, and then she gets triple stabbed, man. Yep, that'll do it. It was funny because people were speculating in the middle of it. It's like, well, she might survive. You know, look how many times people got stabbed in the new trilogy with lightsabers. Kylo Ren got stabbed a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then literally was it one of the first shots of the next episode? Just Yord's corpse on the floor, right at the camera. I was like, yes.
That was Well, I mean, like I say, there were some great moments.
One other one I did like was I think it was episode 7 when we finally got the other side of the other story, which could have easily been done in an email rather than a second episode. When we got possessed Kalnaka, and that was pretty cool when he started wrecking falls for a bit. But apparently George Lucas always said back in the day there cannot be a Wookiee Jedi because they are more beast than man and they have smaller brains and therefore they can be more easily manipulated by the Force, which is exactly what happened. So you've got all of Lucas's lore here, and then you've got, but what if no? But then we actually do what he said anyway. So I mean,
so weird. But again, so you're supposed to believe that May turned up and fucking killed him, or do we think that no? Because he was already dead, wasn't he? It was fucking
Kimir killed him.
Kimir killed him. So he throws down and he kills that Wookiee, and you're like, all right, man's got some fucking chops. Interesting. I like it. Because he took on, Anaka took on all the Jedi that were hanging out until until the Matrix turned up. Don't know, it's inconsistency after inconsistency, and just very little forethought. And does it now that we're talking about it as in depth as we are? I'm feeling like in the writers' room on the board they were just like, this will make a cool scene, this will make a cool scene, this will make a cool scene. Now join the dots, and they did not.
It was a bare minimum on all of them. On paper, I remember being excited when I saw the trailer. Like, Jedi Wookiee, awesome. And you don't show that, and he's dead in the show before you even see him. So why did you give a shit when you see a flashback? Oh, that's what happened. I think the flashbacks thing really killed it. I think if you'd done it in a more linear order, problem is you then don't introduce your main actress until Well, you could have done it at the end of the episode. You could have had done a little nice montage where you go from the child actor to Amanda Stenberg's version of Maya Rosha.
House of the Dragon did that with their main two characters.
Did it fine, man. Yeah. Everyone was clear on how it was. I mean, and also, okay, so the Force mind wipe things. Have we ever seen that before in Star Wars, or this is new in here?
I can't think of a forced mind wipe that I've seen.
Yeah.
Because if that was a thing, in Revenge of the Sith, instead of letting her die of the serious medical condition, look at the chart, a broken heart, they could have just gone, no, it's all fine. You were the virgin Jedi birth, nothing to worry about. You just had the 2 kids. There was no dad. Definitely didn't turn into a bad guy. It's all good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I did think Daphne King was good. Like, she deserved more screen time, but at least she got to have a badass fight against Manny. Like, she did well with what she had, man. And I got to admit, I did like Basil. I love this little road motherfucker, man. Clearly only in the show, as you said earlier, Ben, to sell a new toy, but I didn't care. But I still don't know what the fuck he was doing in the finale, sabotaging Soul Ship. It was never explained.
Yeah, that was so weird.
So getting on to Yoda, and I have strong feelings here. Do not make Yoda complicit in this, you absolute fucks. He is green and good, and it's better not lead to the reason he was hiding out in the Swamping Empire.
Well, it can't be because the Clone Wars.
I know. I was just in a rage.
Honestly, the one thing that I think made more sense early on was the fact that they weren't consulting the council, because they were supposed to be like, 1,000 years of peace. It's because they didn't know what was really going on.
Well, here's the thing, right? Does Venestra tell Yoda everything, or does she lie to him as well?
I think she lies.
You reckon so? Because I was going to say one of the questions. Well, this is going to be a very short question. I put, do we want a season 2? Clearly, no.
No need. No, bury it.
I would only allow a season 2 if they had better writers, because sometimes the show can get better.
Look, the problem is, Jose, that's not going to happen because Leslie Headland is the writer and the show, and she's got an arc for 3 seasons, apparently. So you're not going to get a new writer on it. It's going to be the same person who's done this.
Do you think you get a better team? Because it seems like...
No, there's no point doing it. Look, there's no point. And look, for me, right, Star Wars should be awe-inspiring and make you go, wow. This show had a couple of good scenes and moments, but its execution was poor, as was its central premise and storytelling. I'd have liked for the show to honestly deliver on its original premise, a Star Wars murder mystery show where someone's killing Jedi and we don't know who it is, and then the reveal is right near the end. And you're like, holy shit, it's that person who was the killer. Wow. And even if that had been done well, it could have been a new character or someone we met during the show who's the person doing it. That would have been cool. It's very obvious and by the book, but, that's the format of a murder mystery. Well, like, whenever you watch a Poirot film, you're like, right, one of them's going to be the killer.
Or everyone is.
That's what I wanted. I wanted a Star Wars Poirot with Lee Jung-jae being Poirot. Star Wars Poirot. That would have been cool. That would have been a much better show.
Poirot would have been a badass thing to look at. I mean, if you want to do a bait and switch as well, you only have to look at the Lord of the Rings series on Prime.
Glass Onion, Rian Johnson coming back.
Oh, shut up! Like the bait and switch of the Lord of the Rings.
Well, that's what kept people guessing, wasn't it?
It was really good. The Sauron was a really good, and if that was their basis for this, then I can see why they made so many missteps, because people put those two genres together all the time.
Have you seen the new Lord of the Rings trailer from Comic-Con?
Oh, we have not.
Season 2 of The Rings of Power.
Is it good?
As the kids like to say, it fucks. It looks really good. I am really...
I don't know any kids. I don't think that's true.
Do you think it represents accurately? Like,
I hope my niece and nephew don't say that.
No, I saw the trailer. I was like, this looks really good. I think season 2 of The Rings of Power is going to be better than season 2 of House of the Dragon.
Oh, no, that's a bold statement.
That's going to be a Dragonoff.
Yes,
Dragonoff.
Dragonoff. Can we get back to the dumpster fire that is Acolyte, please?
I mean, I was trying not to because that was more fun.
I know. We need to though. We need to.
Okay, let's right. So, where would season 2 go if there was a hypothetical season 2?
In the trash.
Is this building up to Darth Plagueis meeting a young Palpatine and setting in motion the birth of Anakin being the show's endpoint? Does Venestra tell Yoda everything, or does she lie to him as well? Do not make Yoda complicit in this, you absolute fucks, as I've said already. Do we really want the show to end us back with the Skywalkers again? On the bright side, though, Yord is still dead. I think Venestra will be exposed as Manny's teacher.
But what that mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, is that if Venestra is exposed, like it feels
what
like
does that
people already
mean?
know that. What does it
I
mean
feel
for that
like
character?
she's not. I feel like she's been hiding it.
Unless Vanestra becomes Darth Plagueis, I don't know that there's any more twists that you could like compelling twists that you could make in
I
this
think
that
any
make
of
you
those
go,
twists would be crap, though, wouldn't they?
The issue is they don't know that Manny is out there is a problem. They obviously know that she was his teacher, but they don't know that he's the problem. That's the issue.
Well, the good thing with Bad Manny is he likes going for a naked spa once in a while, and he was holding hands with May at the end. So I think they're definitely going to bump lightsabers, which is definitely not problematic.
Oh, here's the thing. Plagueis, I believe, could be in this, but I don't think that who ends up being the Emperor.
Oh, Palpatine.
Palpatine. It's too far of a gap for Palpatine. It'd be like, what is he, 2 years old? Palpatine's like in his 40s at the beginning of the Phantom Menace, so I don't think Palpatine would be.
Dark side
possible.
does age you. Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said as well. But they could do a time jump. I mean, they shouldn't, but
They should. No, I think they should separate themselves from the Skywalker saga completely.
Yeah, and they should have. So one note I've got, they don't even call the midi-chlorians, do they? They call it the M
No.
count. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, 'cause-
If you're going to bring it up, you cowards.
Cowards. Yeah, I was gonna say.
And again, I had a lot of people wondering, is it a mistake to put shades of grey in a Jedi and Sith? Well, no, not when it's done well. And like you say, the second we got the Manny reveal, I was like, can this just be the show now? I just want to see Bad Manny, and I want his back. I'm quite happy to watch a flashback with him and finding out why he became disillusioned and went off. And he isn't, like you said, Ben, he isn't doing anything bad. He just wants to train people himself. He's literally, he doesn't want to, like, because you say, look at the Sith later on. They want power. They want to rule the galaxy. Manny just wants to hang out and not be bothered by Jedi trying to hunt him down all the time.
I think that's a line. I think that's what he's just saying to get the girl on his side.
Nah,
because he just killed a handful of or a bunch of Jedi.
Yeah, but they were Jedi. They were trying to get him. So there's a whole thing they keep going on about not drawing your weapon. They all draw the weapon on him first.
But he's getting his apprentice to go after these Jedi. He's not just minding his own business on his island planet. You know,
he's getting his apprentice to prove fealty to his cause. So he's getting
by
his
killing
apprentice.
Jedi.
So like, if he'd have said like, if they'd have just changed his line to like, I want an apprentice. If he'd changed his line to, I just want a family. Instantly you go, oh fuck, all right. So he's just lonely and he wants someone. And like in the way that he sees family is that he got pulled from his family, trained by the Jedi that became his family, and dumped. So he's just.
It's a great villain origin story.
It would be if the
that was the show.
If I'd have written the show. So, you know.
So, basically, what we're saying is we could have just dumped May and Osha, and it's about Manny being a Jedi cast-off.
Yeah, that would have been fucking brilliant.
That's the show. And then you don't have the reveal of him. You don't have him in it. You just have someone killing everyone who was responsible for it. And you could show a kid being taken, and then show like a teenager being kicked out in the early episodes, or like all in episode. So then you don't know what he looks like as an adult, but you can suspect it's probably this kid. But you don't know who the kid is as an adult, and therefore someone's just taking out Jedi every week, and Soul's just being really crap at investigating it. That's such a much better show.
It is.
Do we reckon Manny could potentially switch to being a good guy? And here's why I say this: because he only attacked Jedi who were attacking him. He just wants to study the Force and live alone, which is kind of what Obi-Wan was doing in Episode 7 when we first meet him. He's living that monk life as well.
That's true.
Ironically, in this show, the Jedi are more like the Sith we know, because the Sith, it's all about politicking to stay in power. And that's exactly what the Jedi are doing by lying and covering up their fuck-ups.
I think using technicalities. So with that, I'll use a technicality. Manny's lightsaber is red, so he's evil. Period.
Okay. Can't argue with that. The lightsaber colours do not lie.
But then that doesn't mean that you can't come back from the dark side, does it? So like, if
you
you're
might go blue.
you could be a Sith and then like, you know, turn to the quote unquote
and then
light
you get
side.
a new kyber crystal.
Because that's not happened before.
Exactly right. You rebuild your lightsaber then. But like, I don't know. I think that like there's enough. There's enough. Like, that character was cool enough for me to want to see more of him than anyone else. I honestly had no ties to any character, like no emotional connection to any of them. And when he was like,
not even mocked.
Not even. Sorry, mate. So like when Bad Manny was like throwing down, I was like, actually, I'm with him. Like, fuck the Jedi. Like, cool. Yeah. Damn, this is good.
Yeah. I think we all were, man.
In short, Manny was the bright spot of the entire show. Yeah.
And just as a slaughter episode. I mean, that was so good, man. One last thing I want to sort of mention on Picking a Hole, and why they just decide, it's too dangerous for us to travel together, so we're just going to wipe your mind. You literally spend the whole show apart, and then you get back together, and then for a plot contrivance, you split together. It is such a stupid reason. I'm sorry. You should travel together, and then people don't know which one of you are. That would have been much smarter and much more of an advantage. And also, you've got 3 powerful Jedis there instead of just 2.
But there can only be 2 Sith. But apparently that's not true either, because you've got a master and an apprentice. But if Darth Plagueis is in it and he's the master of Khmer, then Khmer taking an apprentice means that he's got to kill Darth Plagueis.
Yeah.
So if there can only be 2 Sith, or is this before the law of this is something where I'm a bit hazy? Is this before the law of the
So
Sith?
they clearly
Maybe there's a point at which they could have explored where the Sith grow into like a coven of witches, because remember that's the only way you can be a Jedi or use the Force. But maybe there's like there's like five or six like Sith, and they're also evil. They sort of turn on each other, and they realize that the rule can only be that there can be a master and apprentice, and that's it.
and then they call themselves the Knights of Ren.
What? See, that would be fucking brilliant. That's exactly right. So like, I read somewhere that there was a.
That was one of the theories about the show early on, wasn't it?
Would have made much more sense as well. Much more sense. But like, if you like, there was this. There was nearly every other Force wielding people in the galaxy. There are different like factions, but there was this one faction in the era that we're talking about, which was led by this like anti-Jedi, anti-Force like movement. It becomes a religion, which is wildly interesting, and I'm gutted that they didn't even think about putting it in there. But basically, there's this. I can't remember what it's called. I should have done better research. But basically, there's this.
There's a lot of lore, mate. There's a lot of lore.
There's too much of it to wade through. But it's a group of people who are anti-Force, and they believe that if you use the Force in any way, shape, or form, you're going against the natural order of the galaxy, because the Force is there to just do its thing and like push people and guide people without being interfered with. So they're against the Jedi, and they're against anybody using the Force in any way, shape, or form, because they think it's a really terrible thing, and that you're reshaping destiny in a malformed way. Turns out the leader of that faction is a Force user and is using this cult of people to cover the things that they are changing. Like they're like using the Force to like basically underhanded shit to make themselves more popular or more powerful. And that they get found out, and the faction splits off, and one of those factions turns into almost like a team of freedom fighters who, depending on which side of the law you're on, they're terrorist or hero. And like that storyline in itself is fucking amazing if you think about what
that sounds better than the show we've just talked about for the last hour.
It does. But this is one of the Marvel comics, I think, or one of the books. But yeah, I was just like, you could tie fucking Bad Manny into that. Like
there's so much potential. So much potential.
Disney, you own Marvel. Marvel do comics. You're doing Star Wars comics. I don't know. These guys might know what they're doing. Jesus. So I guess we don't want a second series. And do you know what? If you can't do a good enough job in 5 to 6 hours of telling one simple story, that for me at least had a muted reaction. Although, do you know what? I've looked online. Some people actually love the show. And then I've seen some people who think it's the worst thing Star Wars has ever done. It's not. That's still Boba Fett for me. I still think Boba Fett was worse than this.
That was going to be my question. What do you think is worse?
Boba Fett.
Man.
Because Boba Fett had so many elements, and there was even more bloody flashbacks in Boba Fett.
Man.
How many episodes did they waste of him just chilling out in a desert with the Sand People? I don't care. That is Boba Fett is another example of a show where they promised, like a low-level crime show set in the Star Wars universe, and we got, no, I'm at peace now, unless you push me, and just Robert Rodriguez, some absolutely terrible directing from one of my former favourite directors, and just other characters who weren't interesting.
We were promised the Sopranos in space, weren't we, with Boba Fett?
Oh, you're right, yeah.
All they had to do was just adapt the Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina from the old books from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been so well done, man. So well done. Yeah. That's the problem, as I said earlier. Star Wars projects should be amazing. They should be awe-inspiring. They should have lore and entertainment. And being decidedly average is not good enough for me.
Yeah. Andor really proved us that it can be done. And it was a more political show than anything.
It's the high watermark of Star Wars in terms of
And there's
acting.
not a single lightsaber in that show. That's how good you can do it. That's how easily.
I've just got the 4K box set, and I'm on my little break coming up. I'm going to rewatch all of Andor again.
Wow!
But I mean, the new season comes out in December.
Yeah, is it definitely December, or is that just rumor?
Hoping.
So we want to finish on a positive, and yeah, we've been very down on this show. And
I get Jedi mind wiped, then please.
This is not the show you were looking for.
Yeah, damn
Honestly,
straight.
if there was a season 2, I think Mandy Jacinto would be the reason and the focus.
I reckon they just could take him and put him in something else.
Mm.
Or just, they go, this is
Hollywood
season 2 of
prison.
The Acolyte, the Manny's story, and they just... But
Yeah.
no, it's because it's still going to be average. He was the best thing in it, but he's just, no, I've decided. But looking ahead...
Neil has spoken.
I have spoken.
And he drinks well after he's spoken.
Mate, I've been ranting. We've been ranting a lot. I need... That is almost 2 litres of liquid gone from my body. Looking ahead, we have Skeleton Crew coming out later this year, and that already has a better central conceit than The Acolyte. As we talked on our preview episode at the start of the year is about a bunch of young kids who get somehow trapped on an alien world, team up with an old Jedi to get home. Simple story. The Goonies in space has basically been pitched as, and it's got that whole Amblin, young... and Jude Law's playing the old grizzled Jedi, so...
Also, he's not that old.
I mean, he is now, Jose.
I mean, yeah. He's older.
He
but
just,
he's not like...
just ages us, Jose. Just ages us.
Oh, man, you're right.
And as we just briefly mentioned, hopefully in December or possibly next year, the high bar for all Star Wars TV, Andor. We got Ahsoka Season 2 is being planned out at the minute, and I thought that was fine, but it didn't blow me away, but I did appreciate that it took a slower pace, but I didn't mind because the characters were much more interesting in it. You had some really good performances in that show. And also you had...
I really liked
Space
Ahsoka.
Wars.
I thought Ahsoka was really good. I thought it was cool.
I'm in the 3-star camp. I thought it was fine.
And I didn't finish it.
I'll go 4 out of 5.
And of course, we then have, in the movie side of things, we have Jon Favreau's Mandalorian and Grogu film due in 2026. How are we feeling about that?
Indifferent right now.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Not really.
It could be amazing, and if it's Favreau, then I'm down.
I got faith in Fabs.
Is he going to have to spend the entire movie just again tying everybody's loose threads together to make the fucking to make the universe make sense? Like that's just not.
It depends whether it connects to the next film that's potentially in the trilogy, which is Dave Filoni's Mandoverse New Republic film.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, again, that could be the last couple of the last few things. I got really excited about Ahsoka, and it didn't live up to my expectations, but I still really liked it.
Yeah.
I got really excited about Acolyte because I was like, New Republic era is going to be fucking brilliant. I even said about it in the what we're most excited for this year, and it just absolutely bailed and let me down like heavily. So like I'm now on the back foot. There hasn't been a good Star Wars movie for a while. Well, sorry, that's unfair. There hasn't been a Star Wars movie that I have felt has lived up to expectations for a while. So I don't know. I'm literally going to be I'm in wait and see mode now. I was very excited about Skeleton Crew. And I don't know, like I'm hoping
we haven't seen anything from it yet, though, have we? So it's wait and see.
I'm going to reserve my judgment.
And I kind of like that they've pitched 3 new films, and these are the ones that are in active development at the minute. And each of these potentially could be a trilogy going forward if they get it right. And so it's good. Don't waste all the time and money on a trilogy if it's not going to be worthwhile. If it's good, then make one film that's really good and gets people going, I want to see more of this. And that's what looks like what they're going to do with these 3 new ones. Although I don't know how Dave Filoni's one, because it's in the Mandoverse and the New Republic. So I'm not sure how you continue that on after that film when we've been dealing with it in other stuff.
I mean, there's always side stories. It doesn't have to be connected to the main characters.
His movie sounds like the one that they pitched that Taika Waititi was going to do. That was like in that universe, but on like planets fucking so far out of the system that it barely even links to Star Wars. It just creates its own little spin-off kind of vibe.
And I wonder if they're going to use some of these, like, because they're supposed to be like the Marshals or the Star Wars Outlaws thing, wasn't it? Like with that, the idea was Timmy Oliphant's character was going to get his own show and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to be about like out an outlaw, like almost like a cowboy Star Wars thing out on the outer rim.
They can't call it that because the new video game's out in on your birthday, isn't it?
My birthday, yes.
Well, Ahsoka was out on my birthday last year, so we all get a Star Wars present.
But then the other 2 that sound potentially a bit more interesting and a bit more unknown quantities, we got James Mangold's, not titled, just the unofficial, what it's been referred to, Dawn of the Jedi, which is literally about the first Jedi.
Oh, was her name Dawn?
Now, Mangold is that'd annoy all the men who hate women in Star Wars films, wouldn't it?
Dawn of the Jedi, like Shaun of the Dead.
Unless her name's Jedi. Dawn
like
Jedi.
Dawn Jedi. She first uses the Force. She's actually a cashier at Tesco's.
Oh my god.
And she starts. No, fuck you. We're gonna explore this. She starts moving stuff. She starts moving stuff with her mind down the checkout line, like the conveyor belt starts, and she moves.
It is in a long time in a galaxy very far away. So
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah.
okay, so we've got Dawn the Jedi. No. But no, Mangold, you look at his like recent run of films. He did Ford versus Ferrari, which was excellent.
Oh, beautiful.
Did Logan, which was
Yep.
excellent.
Duh.
And he's just to do something completely different before he does this. He's done the Bob Dylan film with Timothy Chalamet next. And I'm not a fan of music biopics. I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, this looks really fucking good. Actually,
Really?
the trailer just dropped for that this week.
I'll give it the time of day.
Yeah.
That's rad.
And then the new one, and this is the one that's going to get the most shit. Unfortunately, some elements of fandom are assholes. Charmin Obaid Chinoy is doing a new Jedi Order movie taking place the furthest ahead in the Star Wars timeline, with Daisy Ridley returning as Rey.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Can she not get any other parts?
Yeah, she's in a film I'm watching soon. It's on Disney Plus, The Young Woman in the Sea.
I mean, if you think about it,
like-
she might just be living off of Star Wars money right now and the residuals.
Oh, I think you just do, don't you? Because I mean, I imagine that in every Star Wars contract now is that it was a residual from the toys, which is like a new, like a standard thing. But I don't know. Like, does she? I like Daisy Ridley. I'd really like to see her do some really cool other
She's
stuff.
doing stuff, man. She's doing but she's doing a lot of indies at the minute, which I guess she can do with the Star Wars money. She doesn't have to take a big job. She's done a gritty drama in a swamp called The Marsh Keeper's Daughter, which was really good.
Oh, has that got who else is in that? Is that Tom Holland? Because they did a movie together, didn't they? Tom Holland.
It was based on the book
one
series.
where she can read their thoughts or see their thoughts.
I read the book series of that, right? Because I watched the film. I was like, oh, Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland, this will be excellent. Sci-fi, love it. Mads Mikkelsen was a bad guy in it.
Oh,
and it was absolutely terrible.
Damn.
So then everyone was raving about it. So I finally read the book, and I've never seen a book go so badly wrong to screen. And I ended up reading the trilogy of the books, and the books are amazing.
The books are amazing? Okay, good to know.
I just can't remember the name of it right now. Someone Google it, please, while I talk and fill space.
Spider-Man series with Star Wars mixed in.
What? No, what are you talking about, Jose? Did he get into you there in Florida? I'm about to pass out here. But no, do you know what? I think Ridley, she's done another indie film that I've got that I haven't seen yet, and I really want to watch, called Sometimes I Think About Dying, where she plays like an office worker who just kind of is like really insular and doesn't socialize with people. So she's taking some really quality roles. I really think that in a way, and it is, I can't see it, you're holding the phone in the wrong place.
Is it The Marsh King's Daughter?
That's not the Tom Holland one. Yes, the film is
Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking. Yes.
2021.
It came out, I think it was hit by COVID.
Yeah.
COVID Walking.
Yeah, mad COVID Walking. And that's it. Bizarrely, one of the Jonas brothers is in it as well, Nick Jonas.
Great. Can't wait to not see that.
Do you know what? It's almost worth watching just as like a... No, it's bad. It's bad.
What not to do.
What not to do. What not to do in a book. You read the book, you're like, this is going to be a fucking awesome film.
That's
I think I remember seeing it once when it came out, and I turned it off after 20 minutes and fell asleep. I was like, that was shit. I'm not watching the rest of that. And then someone recommended the book. No, you got to really read the book. I went, okay. I read the book, loved it, read the whole trilogy, went back and watched the film. I was like, fuck's sake. What could have been? What could have been, man?
If anyone wants to know, Daisy Ridley in 2014 was in the movie The In-Betweeners 2. I don't know what the credit is, but I just thought that was funny.
Random girl who was in she was in something else in a TV show. Wasn't she in like Toast of London or something? Playing a theatre worker in like literally a cameo. Well, this is before, I think this is right before she did Star Wars. Like literally one of her first roles where she literally has one line as like a stage tech backstage in a theatre that Toast working in. I'm sure she was in that, or I've misremembered it and it's someone else.
I'm just curious how much of this we're going to keep in the podcast.
I feel like we're trying to finish on a positive, talking about how good Daisy Ridley is, and hopefully bringing it back. She's hopefully seen the script or the idea for this film and gone, fuck yeah, I want to come back and do that.
Let's hope so. Like I'd hate to see her come back to have a fucking terrible movie like that. It didn't end particularly well for that like set of those sequels in a lot of people's eyes. So for her to come back and be like a new, like almost like Yoda-esque character could be quite fun.
Wise Ray. And also just about the Ray. And again, if they're smart on the way the shows have been going, and they might even do some recalibrating now, going, shit, the Acolyte didn't work, did it? People don't like shades of grey in it, Jedi. Well, no, they do. It just needs to be better written. Okay, so then it's about her setting up a new Jedi Order and not making the mistakes of the past, which could be done quite well, and you could tie in with some of this other stuff. But I think, gentlemen, that draws us to an end.
Yes, sir.
That's all the time we have on this week's episode of the We Need a Voice podcast. We're sorry for it being a little bit more ranty and shouty than normal. And don't forget, guys, that as we're coming to the end of the podcast today, don't forget, you can find us all over the social medias. As the kids say, the social medias. The state of it. The state of that line. You can find me on Twitter at Needed Roads. I forgot the we, so it's just Needed Roads on Twitter. David occasionally updates Instagram. He probably won't because, Spawn of David is due any day now. And he'll be very busy up to his knees in, say it over you guys, baby poo.
Baby knife.
Baby knives. Hopefully not baby knives. That was the last episode. Jose, show yourself.
Yes, you can find me on the interwebs at jlopezphotos.com. That's my website for wedding photography.
Jose, are these pictures of Jennifer Lopez's wedding?
No, they're not. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for the... You've been holding on to that one too, haven't you?
That was new. I just thought that now. That was just for clarity for our listeners.
There we go. That's for my wedding photography portfolio. And then on Instagram, I am Jose Lopez Photos. At Jose Lopez Photos. That's where more of my, fun lifestyle portraits and such. You can find me there.
Where you spend the weekends taking pictures of beautiful women all around the world.
Not every weekend, but mostly. But yes, if you follow stories, you can actually see what I'm up to every weekend. I like to keep up with letting people know what I'm doing, because if they forget you, they can't hire you.
I think we need to get your Jedi training up a little bit, mate, and then
maybe a little.
You will hire me for your wedding.
Yes.
You will tell your friends to hire me for your wedding. I am the photographer you've been looking for.
You're just stealing all my lines.
Are you guys done yet?
Ben Kenobi, what are you off to do now? Are you going to sit in a cave for a few years on a desert planet?
Absolutely.
You should hold it to the bottom because I think that's where the sound comes in best.
Is it in your bottom?
Oh, there it is. That's the sound.
Jose Solo, what are your plans? Kessel Run? How long are you going to do it in?
Oh, man. And 2.2 gigawatts. 2.21 gigawatts. That's how fast I'm going to do it.
1.21.
1.21 gigawatts. That's how fast I'm going to do it.
Oh, I was going to say parsecs, but hey, okay.
Hey, that's the whole point.
Wrong. Get both of them wrong.
But he was doing a We Need a Roads Back to the Future crossover.
He was trying to.
Yeah, I got the joke. I got the joke.
Yeah. Well, I'm off to look for a scaly lizard guy in a cave who definitely won't try and kill me and then be responsible for creating Jake Lloyd. May the force be with you, folks. See you next time.
There we go.
We Needed Roads.